our current IT industry, we are seeing a new buzzword that is called as MCP. And if you are hearing the news, there are many news like these are the companies which are integrating their AI clients with the MCP. And many people are talking about MCP these days. But I think very few people have literally the idea what is MCP, why it exists, and they know the architecture behind MCP and how you can develop your own MCP. So bang on, I am actually releasing a new course which is called as MCP Masterclass. And in this course, we are going to study all these things in depth. So before going ahead and before I am telling you what I am going to teach you, I just wanted to give an overview of MCP, like what is MCP and why it exists. And then we will talk about basically what we are going to learn in this series. And then from the next video, we are going to learn MCP. So let's start. So basically why we need MCP? This is the first question that is coming in my mind. Like if we are learning something, the first question should be like why we need that, right? So okay, let's think of a scenario. Let's say you have an app, right? Let's say you have some app and you want to integrate that app, that is basically an AI app, and you want to integrate that app with some tools, let's say with some tools like GitHub, Slack, or you want to integrate with some API, with some DB, right? So what you will do, so let's say you have an AI app called as Cursor. So what you will do is with that Cursor app, with that Cursor client app, you will write your own integrations, right? That will get integrated to any code base or any tool or any DB or any API. Let's say now you have any other app. Let's say you have Claude. Then what you will do, you will again write a custom integration, right? So every time, as you can see in my screen, let's say you have an AI app A, you will write your custom integration for the API DB. Let's say the AI app A is basically the Cursor. Let's say you have the AI app B, that is basically Cloud A, and you will then again write a different integration because Cloud A works in a different way. So you write again a custom integration to integrate that Cloud A app to any API or to any DB. So every time will be a custom integration. Now, this integration is basically very fragile because if this integration breaks, your Cloud A won't work, right? Let's say whatever the integration that you have written with your AI app A to API, if this breaks, that won't work. So that is very fragile, right? And for every app, let's say for Cloud A or for Cursor, you have to write your own integration. So this is a big overhead. Like why we are writing a custom integration for every client AI app. So to solve this problem, what we did is we will create a MCP server. For this MCP server, as you can see in my screen, think it like a magic box, right? Where your different AI apps such as Cursor, Cloud or any AI app will connect to that MCP server, that magic box, and then that MCP server will connect to basically different APIs, different tools, different DBs, and then it will return the answer. So basically, MCP is nothing but, I will say, it's a shared language, or it's a shared protocol, or it's a standard protocol which is basically between your final integration and your client, right? And with this MCP server, you can call multiple clients, and your multiple clients can call a single MCP server because they can reuse it. It is designed, this MCP server, this magic box is designed in such a way like your different uh, AI app clients such as Cloud Acres or anything at all can be integrated with that, and then that MCP server will connect to that tool. So you don't have to write this integration again and again, right? Now, the next part that really arises is what we are going to cover in this series. So I will say we are going to cover 5 parts in this series, right? So what are those? So the first thing that we are going to cover in this series is basically the architecture. Like what is the architecture of MCP and how different clients such as Cloud Cursor or any client are able to connect to that MCP server right? And how our MCP server is calling different integrations such as any database or any external API or any file system, right? So we'll see the architecture first. Then the next part that we will see is, once we understand the architecture, we will develop our custom MCP, right? And we will use the language Golang, right? Then once we develop our custom MCP, right, we will basically connect our AI agent such that we can connect our AI agent Cloud A or Cursor basically to that MCP server. So this is the third part that we will see. So this will basically give you a feel of end to end, like how you can build your own MCP server and how client AI apps basically can connect to your MCP server, and how MCP server call the third party tool, let's say how it calls basically GitHub or Slack or any DB, right? So it will give you an end to end feel. So once after doing the third part, the fourth part that we will do is, this is basically for those people who really want to deploy their custom MCP server in production. So we are going to see how we can develop a MCP server which has basically security inbuilt in, which has testing inbuilt in, which has logging and monitoring inbuilt in, so that you will able to ship this MCP server in your production environment, right? So this is something that is very important in our IT industry. Like any tool you are developing, you should always think about how we secure that tool, how we will test that tool, how we will do the logging of that tool, how we will do the monitoring of that tool. So let's say if you want to analyze it further, if something happened, then your logging monitoring can help, right? And if somebody is trying to attack, then basically your security guidelines will make sure that your tool is safe, right? And testing is why testing is required, because let's say you are shipping something extra in that MCP server, then before going ahead in production, it should be thoroughly tested. So these four parts are really very important. And if you skip this part, then I will basically tell you, like, you just know how to build a MCP server but not in a full-fledged way that our industry will accept it, right? So after part 4, we will learn some advanced agentic AI. This is basically a very surprise section for all of you. I'm not going to deep in dive that what we are going to learn here, but after this, if you really want to learn advanced agentic AI and how advanced agentic AI can call your MCP server and utilize it, then we are going to learn all these things in this section. So this is a series at a glance. We are going, I have just splitted my series in 5 parts. The first part is architecture. The second part is building your own MCP server with Golang. The third part is how we connect our AI clients like Cursor, Cloud A to that MCP server. The fourth part is how we can secure, test, and how we can do a proper logging and monitoring of our MCP server. And the fifth part is we will learn something which is called as advanced agentic AI, and this is a total surprise section for all of you. So the next thing is, like, who is this for? So this is basically, this series is for software engineers who really want to learn about MCP. This is for AI engineers who really want to explore MCP. This is for product engineers and technical product managers basically who really want to understand MCP and want to use MCP in day-to-day in their day-to-day life. This is basically for all the engineering managers, because this is a very hot topic in IT industry. And uh, if any engineering manager who is managing MCP, then this is really a go-to series for them. And at last, this is for anyone, I'll say the word builders. This is for anyone who really want to build their MCP server and who really want to see how uh, AI powered tools basically work together with our common tools and how they create magic with it, right? Now, before going to this series, there are really two things you should know. You should have a basic understanding of Golang, right? If you really understand coding, then Golang is not a very tough part. And the next thing that is, you should have a basic understanding of Git, so that whatever code we are doing, we'll able to commit it in public repo. We will pull that code will commit that code, will again push it. So you should have basic understanding of this, and we are not going to focus on Git or Golang in this series. Now basically what's next? So next in our episode 2, we are going to learn about this MCP server in detail. I mean basically the architecture of MCP server in detail. And I want basically to bring 3 things from you. Like you should bring Go expertise, you should bring your Git expertise, and you should bring your curiosity for it. Now I just wanted to tell all of you guys as really thank you, and let's start on this series. And thanks a lot for joining DeeperBits.